But she also brought us Dr. Oz and The Secret. We have to remember what this lady has done.
She has to be held accountable.
I forgive her, but I mean, cut the shit. The Secret is a particularly egregious offense.
What, you don't believe? You don't believe?
I used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. You know, before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah
Winfrey has spent decades building an image as America's ultimate guardian angel, a billionaire wrapped in benevolence, a woman whose very name supposedly means generosity, empowerment, and wisdom. But when Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly take the gloves off, that shimmering halo around Oprah doesn't just dim, it shatters like cheap glass under a spotlight. What emerges isn't a saintly figure floating above the cultural landscape, but a media mogul who turned self-promotion into a religion, monetized empathy, and built a brand empire out of contradictions.
Bro, you remember the time Oprah had that lady on, his face bit off by the chimp?
Stay there.
And she showed her face on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Miraculously, she survived just the unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with the hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
The lady was wearing a veil over her face, like, let's see your face, come on. She pulls the veil away.
Like a Nope?
What are you doing?
Would you mind lifting the veil? Oh, no. So we can see?
You could take the hat off.
Oh, the hat comes off.
Yep.
Okay.
clip has been circulating on social media. I saw it on X a couple of times. And it was back when we still liked Oprah in 1988, when she was still somewhat self-deprecating and likable, not her billionaire actress self, like, what? With Meghan Markle. What? They wanted to know how dark your baby was gonna, what? We don't like that version.
Joe Rogan doesn't waste time reminding everyone that Oprah's empire wasn't just television, it was indoctrination. Her daytime show looked more like a spiritual gathering than entertainment, with audiences fainting, crying, and screaming as though they were in the presence of divinity. Rogan ridicules the absurdity of it all. The staged reveals, the endless giveaways, the dramatized tears. It wasn't friendship, it wasn't compassion, it was pure spectacle. Oprah wasn't selling solutions, she was selling herself. The gospel of Oprah became a cultural phenomenon, and millions signed up without reading the fine print.
The women would get super pissed off if The Rock was the president and Oprah was VP.
She's potentially next in line. That's not a bad thing.
A lot of people would want her to be president. Oprah to be the first female president, to counter, like the first celebrity president being Trump. Oprah counters that with the first female celebrity president. Bah! That's a big win.
Would The Rock be VP in that situation?
Tough to get The Rock to take a fucking back seat.
Yeah,
son.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Megyn Kelly sharpens her scalpel and slices through the carefully staged contradictions. Oprah positioned herself as a champion for women, minorities, and the underdog. But behind closed doors, she built alliances with the same elites she pretended to challenge. The woman who spoke endlessly about empowerment built her magazine around one face, her own, on every cover, every month, year after year. Kelly mocks the irony. Oprah claimed to celebrate others, yet couldn't stop celebrating herself. The empire wasn't about elevating voices, it was about ensuring no voice could rise higher than hers.
The dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter, she's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she believes, not what's real. So you remember she did that like kind of factual interview after the quote documentary of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
That was so dishonest.
Yes.
She did not raise any of those accusers' serious compromising facts.
Rogan turns his attention to the absurd cottage industry Oprah birthed, the guru economy. From Dr. Phil dispensing dime store psychology to Dr. Oz peddling questionable miracle cures, Oprah's stamp of approval legitimized a parade of charlatans who made fortunes off her audience's trust. Rogan skewers this pattern with biting humor. It wasn't enlightenment, it was daytime infomercial quackery dressed up in inspirational quotes. He sees Oprah not as the great curator of wisdom, but as the gatekeeper who cracked open the door to pseudoscience and then cashed the checks while her disciples flooded the market with nonsense.
Oprah said that if Trump wins, you may never be able to vote again. When you go back and watch him on her show, where she was encouraging him to be president.
And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing.
What changed?
Yeah, that's right.
Kelly cuts deeper by focusing on the hypocrisy of Oprah's lifestyle. The woman who told millions to live simply and embrace gratitude resides in sprawling estates that look like theme parks. She spoke of humility while throwing parties so extravagant they made Hollywood red carpets look quaint. Kelly skewers this duality with precision. How can someone brand themselves as the voice of modest living while enjoying excess so grand it practically mocks the audience? It isn't guidance, it's manipulation packaged as mentorship.
The other things that's unique to America, for better or worse, is the huge population of obese people. And we're going to end this on a lighter note. Kind of, it's a pun. It's not really a lighter note. Well, it kind of actually is a lighter note. Oprah is admitting she's on Ozempic. And I know this is, our team asked you what was interesting to you today. This was on your list and mine. Because of course, you've done a lot of shows on Ozempic. I've listened to some of them. We've talked about this, or there's a bunch of drugs. That's just one of the name brands. And now she said she originally wouldn't go on it because she thought it would be, quote, cheating. But now she's admitted that her recent weight loss is due to...
The cult-like devotion is where Rogan finds his best material. He mocks the idea that if Oprah endorsed a diet, shelves across America emptied overnight, or if she recommended a book, it became gospel. To him, it looked less like empowerment and more like a soft dictatorship in designer heels. Free will disappeared the moment Oprah handed down a decree. He compares it to a country where the leader doesn't need laws or guns, just a TV slot and a captive audience who hang on every word. It's hilarious in its absurdity and frightening in its accuracy. Kelly doesn't let the darker side of that influence slide. She highlights the gatekeeping at the heart of Oprah's empire. Yes, she created stars, but only the ones she deemed worthy. She wasn't just giving people platforms, she was curating the culture. And Kelly points out that such control isn't generosity, it's monopoly. Oprah wasn't sharing power, she was hoarding it under the guise of inspiration.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as... Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like, you are worth so much money.
Rogan comes back swinging with Oprah's foray into politics. He points to her chummy relationship with elites, her sway over elections, and the whispers about her potential presidential run. To him, it's the ultimate proof that Oprah's empire wasn't built on empathy, but on power. You don't build an audience that loyal without at least flirting with the idea of political dominion. He sees her as less of a humanitarian and more of a Caesar in couture, testing the waters of empire building beyond daytime TV. Kelly sharpens the satire by exposing Oprah's most consistent product, herself. Every story, Kelly's roast cuts to the core. True selflessness doesn't come with press releases, magazine spreads, and televised specials. What Oprah offered wasn't service. It was self-promotion wrapped in the language of service.
Did Oprah fall down?
Yes, and it's honestly...
She's a little old to be falling down. You loved it?
I loved it.
Wow.
Loved it.
You
She didn't
like
get
when
hurt.
people get hurt.
She's fine.
She's dead.
She died?
Yes.
All right. Ding dong. The witch is dead.
She didn't.
No,
Imagine if she did, and I was
if she died from the
joking
fall.
about her.
Yeah, we're fucked.
No, she didn't die.
No, she's fine. I just think
she looks like she got hurt.
It's nice to see billionaires fall.
The irony Rogan loves to hammer is how Oprah became the queen of authenticity by being the least authentic of them all. She built a career out of real talk while carefully curating every word, every moment, every reveal. Nothing was spontaneous, nothing was unplanned. It was all content. To Rogan, Oprah isn't America's therapist. She's America's most skilled producer of scripted reality. The audience cried because they were supposed to cry. They gasped because the show told them to gasp. It wasn't connection, it was choreography. Kelly drives the knife deeper by ridiculing the way Oprah cloaked her empire in spirituality. She wasn't content to be a talk show host or a businesswoman, she needed to be a guru. With best-selling books, tours with self-help giants, and a constant emphasis on personal enlightenment, Oprah marketed herself as a spiritual leader for the modern age. Kelly strips away the mystique, pointing out that it wasn't divine guidance but consumerism wrapped in new age vocabulary. The sermons of self-empowerment were less about healing souls and more about selling products. And then there's the Netflix era. The woman who once handed out free cars is now handing out branded content deals.
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off. What's up?
Yeah.
It was one of the more I want to say disturbing, but it was confusing when that was taking hold with people. when I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real and that they imagined they were going to fulfill these childhood dreams that they had about whatever, being a fucking astronaut, whatever it would be. There's a couple people that I knew that were trying to tell me that The Secret was going to be the thing, and that they had a vision board and they had photographs. They put pictures up of the things that they wanted, like them in front of large crowds and shit. And I'm like, oh boy.
Them in front of large crowds.
This is so not how it works.
Yeah.
Rogan laughs at the thought of her empire being seen as grassroots. It's Madison Avenue with candles and inspirational quotes. Kelly makes sure to point out the contradiction in Oprah's endless pursuit of relevance. Instead of gracefully bowing out as an accomplished icon, she inserts herself into every new cultural moment, desperate to stay at the center. Whether it's interviewing royals, producing glossy documentaries, or inserting herself into political discussions, Oprah refuses to let the spotlight fade. Kelly ridicules it as the behavior of someone who claims to be above fame, but is more addicted to it than any Hollywood starlet. It wasn't generosity. It was the most profitable upsell in history. He paints her not as America's best friend, but as America's most effective salesperson, turning vulnerability into revenue with the precision of a Wall Street banker.
Governor going on television after a massive tragedy where we don't even know the number of people dead yet. You have this massive area that's been burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about taking it over for the state. That's an insane position to take.
It is.
Post-tragedy. When people are suffering at their most, they can't even believe it happened.
Yeah.
Tonight from Maui, where Oprah Winfrey recently bought hundreds of acres of ag land in upcountry.
He said in a press conference, he said, we're talking to the attorney general. He said, I'm talking to my attorney general to explore options for the state to take over.
Kelly closes in by shredding the illusion of Oprah as untouchable. She frames her as a master manipulator of image, someone who built a billion-dollar empire by convincing millions she cared about them personally, when in reality, she cared about the numbers. The empire wasn't about connection, it was about control. The magazine covers, the guru endorsements, the stage generosity, it all adds up to a woman who mastered the art of selling herself as salvation. And now, with Rogan and Kelly dismantling her carefully curated legacy, that salvation looks suspiciously like exploitation. Together, Rogan and Kelly deliver the kind of demolition Oprah's myth was never supposed to endure. They don't just poke holes in her aura. They tear it apart until what's left is a billionaire mogul who monetized compassion, packaged empowerment, and sold spirituality like soap. Because for every illusion Oprah sold, for every contradiction she wrapped in glossy packaging, there's still more to unravel, more to expose, and more to laugh at.
Journalist, you have to at least ask. You know, you've got multiple lawsuits against his estate, sir. Might that be an incentive to lie? Didn't ask. You've got these accusations against him. You had a book that you were supposed to produce about Michael Jackson in the context of litigation where you were required to turn this stuff over, and you lied saying that you didn't have it. And you only got found out because Random House and these other publishers admitted you shopped it to them and turned over the metadata to Michael Jackson's estate.
Rogan and Kelly don't let up on the empire of contradictions that Oprah built. They hammer away at the fact that she became one of the richest women in the world by selling stories of struggle while living in a mansion so massive it probably has its own zip code. The image of the underdog was always her ace card, yet every move screamed elite insider playing dress-up as a spiritual guide. It's the ultimate irony. Oprah convinced millions that she was just like them while cashing checks so big that relatability was little more than a costume. The roast deepens when Rogan zeroes in on her bizarre obsession with the idea of manifestation. He points out how ridiculous it is that Oprah preached the idea that people could simply dream their way into success while ignoring the fact that her own career was powered by massive media deals, corporate backers, and a brand empire polished to perfection by professional handlers. You're not broke because the system is rigged. You're broke because you didn't wish hard enough. It's self-help dressed up as blame shifting, and Kelly slices it apart with merciless precision.
Weird.
It's nice to see somebody no, it humanizes her. She is such a figure of perfection.
Women should learn. Those fucking shiny bottom shoes, them bitches are useless. You
Yeah,
can't
they're
wear
gonna
those
fall.
things. They're so slippery. Those really expensive shoes that the gals like that always have the shiny bottoms.
Yeah.
Here she is walking, and I believe she's talking about balance, which is LOL.
The irony is staggering.
So, flat ground.
Doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times.
Oh, she bites the dust. Let's see how she recovers.
Then there's the way Oprah inserted herself into politics, playing kingmaker while pretending she was simply being inspirational. From pushing Barack Obama into the spotlight to cozying up with celebrity politicians, she wielded influence not through wisdom, but through branding. Rogan ridicules this as the height of arrogance. Imagine thinking you can decide who should run the free world because your book club sold a few million copies. Kelly sharpens the blade by adding that Oprah didn't just promote leaders, she sold them like products. Obama wasn't a politician to her. He was the ultimate Oprah's favorite thing. And like all of Oprah's picks, it came with flashy packaging but questionable results. The roast becomes even more biting when they turn to her infamous interviews. By this point, the takedown is relentless. Oprah isn't just painted as a talk show titan past her prime, she's exposed as the ultimate cultural manipulator.